Well, welcome to another edition of Recovery Monday, brought to you by the good folks at Powell CDC. I'm J. Michael McCoy, and if I haven't told you lately, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I love this job, and I couldn't do it without you. So we thank you for being here today. Of course, my lovely co-host, Lila Stafford, which, can I say why? Can I tell people why you called yourself Coco?
Sure.
Well, why don't you tell them?
Well, back in the day, I used to go on vacations, and I was drunk pretty much the whole time, and so I would just make up a name every trip I was on. And one really fun trip, I was Coco, but I don't remember a lot about the trip. But afterwards, I had people calling me and wanting to go on another trip with me, but they were calling me Coco, and I thought, this is strange. They don't even know me that well, but especially because they thought my name was Coco.
Yeah.
So anyway, I have a new granddaughter now, and I love the name Coco. I don't like that it's associated with my drunk self, but maybe if my granddaughter eventually starts calling me that, I'll start liking the name a little better.
Yeah, well, and that's, don't feel bad, because that's the name of one of my dogs.
Oh, God.
Well, I love my dog,
Yeah.
you know. Bob Montserrat, the Cat in the Hat, watching the chat. If you are watching this live via webcast1live.com, you can click on chat, and you can join in and ask questions. Otherwise, phone lines are open, toll-free nationwide at 1-855-244-0077, and we welcome all the folks from the American Family Radio Network across the country. All right, we have two special guests today. One is Laura. And Laura, how many days sober?
47 today.
47. That's awesome. And she's currently in treatment at Powell, outpatient treatment. And I'm so thankful for people like Laura who are bold enough and brave enough to step up at this very, very tentative time in their life. I can't begin to tell you, although Laura's going to try today, to share with you what life is like 47 days sober. That's the scariest thing in the world. That's like having triplets, and they're 47 days old, and nothing is like it was on day 01. Also, an old pro at this, Stephanie is here with us, and you've got 8 years.
That's right.
Right? And Stephanie's going to kind of come alongside Laura here as we talk. And Stephanie, what I'd like you to do is when she says something that you can relate to, based on your story, just jump right in there and share that.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Laura, first of all, why 47 days ago did you decide to put the plug in the jug?
Well, I'd actually been trying on my own, which I have since learned does not work successfully. But I had tried on my own to deal with my consumption for the last several years.
Okay.
I have eating disorders as well, and went through treatment when I was 21 for that, so I was familiar. I knew I needed help. I knew what addiction looked like. I've already been there, so I knew the moment my drinking ramped up in 2008 that I was in trouble. I just didn't really know what to do about it at that time.
When did you take your first drink of alcohol?
When I was 14, blackout drunk at 14.
Tell me what that was. What was that? Was that stealing mom and dad's vodka, or stayed all night at a friend's? Or
yeah, I had a super strict, religious, rigid, controlled upbringing, and I met a friend when I was a freshman in high school that had all the things that I never had. You know, I wasn't even allowed to listen to the radio.
Oh, wow. Missouri Senate?
No, I think even beyond that.
Okay. Sounds like Missouri Senate.
Okay. Long story short, when I met this friend, she was from a very wealthy family, no rules, no curfews, no holds barred. And I liked her music, and her parents didn't really care what we were doing. And so it was the diametric opposite of what I had been used to.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with her lifestyle fast.
Yeah. And how did your parents react at first?
I think, well, it's just always been my mom and I.
Okay.
So I think my mom was just kind of happy to have me occupied.
Really?
It took some time for her to, but it took the law to get involved and
Before she realized what you were doing?
Oh, yeah.
Because she just thought you were having fun at someone's house.
Yeah.
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 And how long from your first drink till the point when your mom knew?
Just a couple months.
Couple months.
We hit it pretty hard.
Did you? And what was your drink of choice?
Whatever was available at 14, you know, it's Purple Passion hit me pretty hard. It was
Boone's Farm?
a little bit, I think. Some Mad Dog 2020.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I drank that too. That's very potent stuff.
That's good stuff.
Slow
You
gin.
know, 14 seems to be about the age. How old were you, Stephanie?
I was 13 or 14.
Yeah. Which is like 8th grade?
Yeah.
How old were you?
16 or 17.
16, a little older?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was always a year behind everybody. I caught on to things a year after everyone else.
That's interesting, Laura, that even though your mother, was it your mother that laid down the strict law?
Yeah, what happened was my friend that I was hanging out with, we got, like I said, we got into some trouble with the law. We had some crazy parties. Some yards got farmed with a vehicle that was taken from a party we had. And so long story short, she took a bottle of aspirin and ended up in the psych ward in Omaha. And
Wow.
of course, my mom sort of was forced to pay attention to me at that point and put the kibosh on our friendship. And I went back to my healthier set of friends, and that was kind of the end of my bender.
For a while.
For a little while, yeah.
How did your friend turn out?
Fine, she was fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And here's the thing I don't understand. Why would she try to commit suicide? Because it sounds like mom and dad were pretty cool. And
Right,
what
yeah.
happened? What happened?
I don't recall other than it scared me. I didn't understand really what that was all about either.
Yeah.
So when my mom, you know, said I won't be hanging out with her anymore, I was kind of already there anyway. So.
Okay. Do you remember the moment that you faced the reality that your friend had tried to kill herself?
Yeah, she actually called me from the hospital. She was in Omaha. I'm from Sioux City. And I, for a long, long time in this conversation on the phone with her, I didn't even know who I was talking to.
Really?
It took me a while to even, because she'd been in the hospital for a couple weeks.
Okay.
And I wasn't expecting to hear from her. So,
Yeah. And she was incoherent?
no, she was okay by then. She was
Okay.
all right.
All right. Laura is our guest. 47 days sober. How is it possible for us to put into words to help someone understand what an amazing thing that is to be 47 days sober? Because you're past the 2 weeks that you need to detox.
Yeah, but 47 days, you're either, Laura happens to be very excited about treatment, excited about turning her life around, but not everyone is in that place.
At 47 days.
Right.
What is the other side of it at 47 days?
Where they still want to control everything in their life and they know more than we do. They, and they're just there to get the heat off.
Okay.
And they know that they're going to drink the second they get out or do their drugs. And just the kind of just an attitude about they know it and we don't.
Why don't you have that attitude?
I'm not sure, other than, you know, like I said, I'd been seeking help or trying, you know, I was reading self-help books and I had a good therapist. And for the last several years, I've been working on this on my own. I didn't know what else to do.
So in the morning, you'd wake up and say, I'm not going to drink today.
Oh, every day.
And then by whatever time,
Right.
you were drinking.
Right. And so my what I would try to do is, so I'm a very compulsive person, and when the urge would hit me, you know, especially, you know, my pattern was I would wake up in the morning and I'm not doing this again.
Okay.
I can't live like this anymore. You know, I've never liked feeling out of control, and it always felt out of control.
Okay. Now, do you have family that you live with, husband, children, or anything?
Never married, no kids.
Okay. So you were just taking care of yourself.
Right. So I didn't have to deal with hiding, hiding bottles and all that jazz. I lived alone and drank alone for 20 years.
And the self-talk must have been pretty damaging because there was nobody to say, you're beautiful, you're wonderful, I love you, God loves you, you don't need this, I'll help you through it.
Right. Other than, the therapist I had and stuff like that,
Right.
The paid help. But
Paid
I'll
help.
tell you, paid to listen to.
I like that.
But none of that for me would have made a difference. I mean, someone saying they love me or you're beautiful, any of that stuff wouldn't make any difference at all.
You
Is
would
that
have just kept drinking.
Well, I was just wondering, is that because you didn't believe them, that
Correct.
they were honest?
Right. Well, I wouldn't be doing it for them anyway. I mean, I'm doing it for me, and I'd want them to come along for the journey, but them just telling me that they love me or whatever, it's like,
But you also know that that's part of what they're expected to say.
that they love me.
Right. Did you see it that way?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was just a hoax. Like, if they tell me this, then I'll jump on board, I guess.
But you knew your grandma loved you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did
How
you?
did you know that? That's weird.
I don't know. But my point is there were some people in your life that when they said, I love you, you knew it was true.
Yeah.
And when they said you're lovable, you knew it was true.
Yeah, but I don't know that would make a difference in me actually quitting drinking.
Okay. Did your grandmother ever know that you had a drinking issue?
No,
No. Was she surprised when you said I'm in AA?
I think she had passed away by the time.
Oh, okay.
My father, though, wasn't surprised at all when I got into AA.
Yeah. And he passed away fairly
Real
young.
early on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And how did that impact your sobriety? Losing your father? You didn't go back out.
Well, no, I didn't. But you know what? I had a support system around me at the time. I was
Okay.
in aftercare at Powell, and those people taught me how to accept death
yeah.
and move on without drinking.
Okay.
It was huge. It was instrumental.
And that's what you're learning now. What's the hardest thing for you now at 47 days?
Well, I've been on the treatment high, as they call it,
Sure, the pink cloud.
for a while, and that started to dissipate a little bit recently. And yesterday was my hardest day so far. My boyfriend and I broke up yesterday.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. But I struggled with, the old me a couple months ago. I was a very reactionary person when I would have, and a very compulsive person. And so I would have made a beeline for the nearest restaurant. And
Yeah. Now, and if this is too personal, I apologize. Did your boyfriend break up with you because you're no fun anymore?
I hope not. And I think I've been a lot funnier since I've been
Okay.
sober for whatever reason.
Well, we see that in the program all the time that somebody will get sober in the family. Maybe they're the only ones that need to, but no matter what happens, the dynamics change. I know that for my wife and I, our toughest year was probably this past year, and I've been sober 4 years. And it went pretty smoothly until just this last year. And what happened was she got comfortable enough to start telling me what she thought because she didn't have a big a-hole, loudmouth, in the middle, trying to control everything guy who wouldn't let her say anything. So, all right. We're going to take our first break. Our guest is Laura, and Stephanie's with us today, too. Laura's been sober 47 days. Stephanie's been sober 8 years. Lila's been sober 24?
28.
20. I'm sorry, I always cut you short. And I've been sober 1,606 days, just if you need to know the days. Bob, how long you been sober?
A little over 62 years.
Congratulations. We're going to get you a 62-year chip. Could we get a 62-year chip to give to him? They've got to be
I
out
would
there
love
somewhere.
to.
All right. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation what Laura's life was like. What was it like to be an alcoholic and wake up in the morning and say, I won't do this again, and then fall asleep and say, I did it again? We'll talk about that when we come back. I'm J. Michael McCoy. This is Recovery Monday, brought to you by Powell CDC on KTIA Iowa, powered by webcast1live.com.
A father who is headed toward another heart attack. A woman who struggles daily with diabetes and her memory. A boy whose headaches keep him out of school. A mother who one morning discovers a lump. A girl whose condition defies diagnosis. You come to us because you need answers, but you also need more. You need understanding of what you're going through. You need comfort. You need to be treated as an individual, not a condition. You need to be included in your own care. You are the point of everything we do. That's why we're changing to Unity Point Health. It's a model of care that will help us work better together, where the physician who knows you best takes the lead, coordinating your care through every step, from the hospital to specialists to rehabilitation to health services in the home and in the community, to making sure the treatments are effective. By working as a team, we surround you with care, helping you manage your health and your conditions, guiding you to making better choices and living a healthier life. The point of Unity is you. Unity Point Health.
Get away from us, you mean old credit card. We don't have any more money. We're in trouble now. Save us! Help! Somebody save us! Somebody help! Help! Save us!
Hi, I'm Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of Des Moines. If your credit card's a little too animated, give us a call.
Hooray! We're saved! Consumer Credit, you're our hero!
See 'em here, see 'em there. You got bad credit? We don't care.
Visit emetroford.com for your guaranteed credit approval. Good credit, bad credit, no credit. Everybody drives with guaranteed credit approval at emetroford.com. Visit emetroford.com today.
If Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of America was your personal webmaster, Tom would filter out all bad debt emails. If Tom was your mailman, you'd never get any debt reduction junk mail. If Tom Coates was a lineman, he'd block any phone calls offering to reduce your credit card debt.
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America, and we're still your best choice for credit counseling. We're local, we're accountable, and we can do more. You make the call when the time's right for you.
When it comes to competition, there really is none for Consumer Credit of America.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. Welcome back to Recovery Monday, brought to you by Powell CDC. We sure appreciate you being here. Coco, give us that number again.
515-263-2424.
So if you or someone you know is having issues with drugs or alcohol, pharmaceuticals, food issues, you can no longer say, quote, unquote, gee, I don't know where to turn to. I don't know who to talk to. I don't know what I'm going to do. Because you now know Lila. You know me. You know Bob. You see Laura. You see Stephanie. You know that something must work. What did these people find that I can't find, or that my son can't find, or my granddaughter can't find, or my pastor can't find? Now you know a place to pick up the phone. We don't trace the call. Little men in white coats don't come zooming up in a van. Not at all. It's very comfortable, very calming. These people are the absolute best at taking people who are at their absolute worst and helping them start again. How do they do that? They meet you where you're at. They don't demand that you rise up to a level that, well, if you're going to be sober, this is the way you have to think. They meet you right there in the middle of that stinking thinking. And they realize that you might hurt them, or try to, because hurt people hurt people. But now you know somebody. I hope that gives you a big sigh of release. Laura, 47 days sober. So you're hanging out with this young lady in high school. She's the wrong girl for you. You get terribly drunk over and over and over. You stop, though.
Mm-hmm.
For how long?
I would occasionally drink beer on a gravel road on a Friday night with friends in high school.
Sure.
But I was an athlete. You know, my healthy set of friends were athletes and good students and stuff like that. I was not a good student, but they still hung out with me. And one of my high school boyfriends didn't drink at all. Started smoking cigarettes.
You did?
Yes.
Okay.
At I think 17 or 18.
Okay. Because it was cool.
Well, I had already had some Whopper control issues in my life.
Okay.
And my high school boyfriend cheated on me constantly, and so we battled some control stuff anyway. And I knew he hated smoking, so I made the point of, I literally remember the day I drove to a convenience store to buy cigarettes because I knew he wasn't going to like it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, not the worst thing you could have done. you could have lit his car on fire or something like that. So you were probably being pretty passive. All right. So tell me about the next few years. You go to college?
Yes.
And in college, did you drink?
I went back to being blackout drunk at 19. My 19th birthday was an 18-hour blackout.
Wow.
And I still wasn't, rattled though. I just thought it was what you did. You just partied and, occasionally and but what happened to me was when I went to Iowa State, and when I was 19, I was a freshman at Iowa State and got hit hard with my eating disorder. And I worked full time, and I was obsessively exercising to try to combat, my behavior with the food. And
you thought you were fat?
No, actually, I didn't really have any body image issues.
Okay.
I still had Whopper control issues.
Okay, I don't know what you mean. Burger King Whoppers?
No, big control issues.
Okay, all right. So what was the food? Why she said Whopper? Doesn't it make
I
sense?
got what she meant, but
Well,
that's okay.
I guess I'm the only guy in the room that didn't. So what were your food issues?
I was a binge eater. I was eating strange things, inhaling bags of M&M, half-pound bags of M&Ms, and then eating a can of peas.
Wow.
And then, go run a million miles to try to, because you just, yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Okay.
that's something. I mean, if you don't mind me telling.
No, not at all.
All three of us have that problem,
Okay.
and it's for some people it runs hand in hand with addiction problems.
Yeah. It's interesting. I have a group of men that get together on Thursday morning, and we always have a couple dozen donuts. And I've been with these guys for 4 years, and I've never had a donut. And somebody asked me the other day, why not? Well, because when I'd buy my bottle of gin, I'd buy those little rolls of the little chocolate donuts or the little powdered donuts, and I would eat those while I drink. And so eating a donut and tasting that reminds me of alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
I
Association.
mean, I never smoked, so that was an issue. But when I get around people eating sweets, all right. At what age did it become a daily task to consume alcohol?
I went back to Iowa State again to get another degree in January of 2008. And I had been running I was a runner. I ran almost 7 days a week for 8 years. So I was
Wow.
also addicted to that.
Okay. Outside and inside?
Yeah, all year
Okay.
round.
Okay.
So what happened was when I decided to go back to school, I quit my full-time job. I had a decent part-time job, so I thought I could afford, to make this change, and started school. I was a full-time student in January of 2008, and I told myself I didn't really have time to exercise. It was just kind of overwhelming to have another thing in my life, and so I dove headlong into margaritas and Chardonnay, and
Okay. Now, where's Mom at this time?
she's in Sioux City.
Okay. And is she aware of these issues that you battle your whole life? Did she at the time know?
She knew, because I attempted treatment for the eating stuff when I was 21, so she knew about that.
Okay.
She has her own battles and addictions.
Okay.
So she's familiar.
All right.
With food or alcohol or?
No alcohol. There wasn't any alcohol in her in our home. Cigarettes she smoked for 30-something years.
Wow.
Her dad was an alcoholic, or my stepdad was an alcoholic. So she's familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I may ask, where's Bio Dad this whole time?
He drowned when my mom was pregnant with me.
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Now, stepdad?
Stepdad,
still in your life?
No. He was an abusive alcoholic, and my mom divorced him by the time I think I was 5.
Oh, my. Okay. And she's not been married since?
No, not even dated since.
Okay. Why do you think it is that you've remained single? Does that come from anywhere in that past, or you just think boys are icky, or what?
I was engaged. I was in a 9-year relationship before I'm in my 20s.
Yeah.
And the short story there were a lot of red flags that I ignored in the beginning.
Okay. How did alcohol play a role in both of your lives?
Yeah, big role.
Okay.
Big role.
All right. So you were kind of engaged to two different people, the sober guy and the drunk guy.
Right.
And he was engaged to two different people.
Right.
How were you different when you're drunk?
I'm pretty social anyway, but I was pretty happy. Sometimes when I would drink a little too much, I'd get pretty quiet.
Okay. Isolated drinker.
Yeah, very much so.
Stephanie, what were you like when you drank?
I was pretty social too, at the beginning. I mean, drinking helped me to be less shy, and so I felt more comfortable being around people. But towards the end of my drinking, I would go out with friends and drink socially, and then go home and really drink.
Really drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would get really quiet if I drank a lot in front of people too, because I didn't want to slur my words.
Mm.
That's interesting, because I slurred my words and didn't know I was slurring them.
Yeah.
People, my family especially, gets so mad at me.
Because you'd be drinking?
Because I'd be slurring words and thinking I was cool, and I was so loud that it just. And I know that as a child too, I could tell anyone in my family when they've had too much to drink, because the slurring started, and it really bothered me as a kid. But then I'd do it, and I don't know. I was usually in a blackout anyway.
See, we have that similarity in our stories, because upper white collar, well-to-do families, everybody drank, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it anywhere, and I didn't want to have any part in it. And yet the guy I wanted to be the most like was my Uncle Bob, who was just a horrible, horrible man in every way, shape, and form. And I could not figure out through therapy after therapy, why did I want to grow up to be like my Uncle Bob? My dad's a neat guy. He's a wonderful man, not a bad side to him. Why did I want to be this womanizing, alcoholic, foul-mouthed, bully, blah, blah, blah? Well, I figured out in therapy is the only time I ever heard my mother laugh was when her brother made her laugh.
Oh.
My mother is, I love her very much. She's still alive, but she's a sad person. She's just a sad person. And she has this amazing laugh. And the only time I'd hear that laugh is when she was around Bob. So as a young boy, I would say, I want to be like Uncle Bob so I can make my mom laugh and feel good. Isn't it crazy what these alcoholic minds do? All right. Laura is our guest. Stephanie's here with us also. Laura's 47 days sober. Stephanie is 8 years sober. So take me to the point in which 47 days started.
I moved from Ames to Des Moines about 2 years ago, and thought I was making a fresh start, and things were going to be different, and still, lived alone. I have 2 dogs, but so I had nobody to hide my drinking from.
Right. Nobody to call you on it. Nobody
Right.
to hold you accountable.
Right. And, I would kind of get stuck in I'd get off work, and I would have this pretty strong kind of feeling of needing to reward myself for, I don't know what, living another day, I guess. Surviving a work day, or...
You worked hard.
Yeah. It's raining, it's sunny. It's cold, it's hot.
Doesn't matter.
No.
You were going to reward
I was
yourself with a
gonna-
drink.
Yep.
And what was your drink of choice?
It became Chardonnay because I told myself that it had less sugar and calories.
I see. I see. Okay.
Unfortunately, it also has a phenomenal amount of alcohol
Yeah.
in it.
And so what brought you to the point where you started day one?
Okay. So last year was when I was seriously started seeking some outside help outside myself. And I still didn't quite know where to go or what to do about it. Tried to make some phone calls, and I would have a good day or two, and then I would think, oh, I'm okay. So I would stop seeking.
So you could go a couple days without drinking.
A day or two.
Okay.
And usually it was because I was just busy doing something, busy.
Yeah.
So I'd busy myself to death.
Well, and you're a professional, right? I mean, you have
Sure.
good jobs in the corporate world.
Right.
And I would imagine it would not be proper for you to mix your drinking in with your job.
Not too much, but that's where the problems kind of started for me is the last 2 years, all of my vacation time at my jobs were wasted on hangovers.
Oh, my.
So I am in the negative right now with my vacation time at work.
That's one reason I quit was because of my hangovers. I could be in bed for 2 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember my husband and I hiding under the covers because our cleaning lady was coming and we didn't want her to know we had a hangover. And we hid under the covers.
So when she went to pop down the bubbles on the covers, that didn't...
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's take our next break. We'll come back with Laura, who is 47 days sober, and Stephanie, 8 years sober, and find out what the low point was. What happened? How come the plug got stuck in the jug, and now she sits before us, beaming, I might add, 47 days later, sober as a judge. We'll talk to Laura about that. We'll talk to Stephanie. Lila is here. Bob Montserrat. Ryan's producing. I'm J. Michael McCoy. If I haven't told you lately, thanks for listening. Love this job. Couldn't do it without you. Right here on KTIA, Iowa, powered by WebcastOneLive.com.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner and general manager of Service Legends. I brought along a couple of the home comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wondershide.
I'm administrative manager
I am the senior technician
from Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it. I don't think that you can fake it and have it turn out good.
If we seem like, okay, that's just weird, it's just a furnace, why would you believe so deeply in a furnace? It's not just that, we want to show the world that you can have good service.
Yeah, I mean, it's your home.
It's built into our daily trainings, it's built into our culture, that we're gonna do whatever it takes to have each client say they love us, period.
That's why we spend all the hours in the training that we do. And if we guarantee it's gonna be a good experience for you, or else it's free, what type of work do you think we're gonna do?
There is a guarantee.
Temperature selection guarantee, fixed right or it's free guarantee, comfort guarantee, best value guarantee. All of these guarantees hold us accountable to ensuring that we exceed your expectations. And if for whatever reason we'd fail and we can't make it right, we guarantee all of those guarantees with a 100% money back guarantee.
If you don't think that your technician can fix it right, are you gonna say that to a client? No.
You don't have to worry about having a technician come to your house.
We drug test, background check all of our team members. We put safe people in your home. Each and every one of our service techs, 400 hours a year in training.
You tell it the minute they walk in the door. They know what they're doing, they've done their homework, and they actually truly care about what you want.
Because at the end of the day, you're the person that makes sure I have a job.
They're gonna be listening. They're gonna wanna know what your challenges are. Then they're gonna come and give you options, and you get to choose.
If I'm there to help and I make it easy and painless, I did my job right that day.
Well, when it comes to your comfort, safety, and your family, you don't necessarily go buy the most expensive, but you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, it's worth it, because there's a lot of people that will find a way to get it to work right now and then leave and then come back, charge you again, and the cycle just repeats itself. So when I'm out there looking at the furnace, I want to find why it failed today. How can we change the part today with something that you're not going to have to worry about? Is it worth changing the part today? I mean, you can put a lot of money into a furnace. I can fix parts all day. There's good job security in that for me, but is it the right thing for you?
I get a lot of the phone calls of after the technicians are there. They're just in awe. They're like, wow, you guys are great. I don't even know what to say. You guys are great. Everything you did was perfect. It was great.
Keep going though. I like this.
Just give us a try. I'm going to take all the risk.
I've got the time to make this right. I've got the support to make it right.
Just check us out.
And if you don't see the value in what we do,
I mean, fixed right or it's free or 100% money back.
enough said.
"22 minutes before the top of the hour. This is Restoring Hope Live, brought to you by the good folks at Powell CDC on this Recovery Monday. I'm J. Michael McCoy. The phone number for Powell again is
515-263-2424.
And now you know you have someone you can turn to when you don't know what to do. Laura is here. She's 47 days sober. Stephanie is here. She's 8 years sober. So, Stephanie, you're listening to this story of Laura's. Can you relate 8 years ago to what she's talking about?
Oh, I can relate to a lot of it. I can especially relate to the eating disorder, starting off with that. I really can't talk about my alcoholism without talking about my eating disorder because they're very connected. And I think a lot of people who are alcoholics struggle with dual addictions, whether it's drugs or food. Yeah.
Because we're just addictive.
Yeah, very much so.
We have a hole someplace and we want to fill it with everything we possibly can.
Right. And you were talking earlier about love and why, just questioning why Laura, you not being married or having any kids, so you don't have anybody to tell you that you're awesome or they love you. I don't think love has anything to do with alcoholism. I mean, you can have all the love in the world, and that's not going to cure you of your alcoholism.
Okay, that's a good point.
That's
a good point.
It's nice to have a support system. It makes it a little bit easier, a lot easier, I'm sure. But, I know there's a lot of people who are very well loved and who still are alcoholics.
Yeah. And you have a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
How old is she now?
She's 24.
24.
Yes.
And are you a grandma yet?
I am.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
How old?
Well, my granddaughter is 6 years old.
Okay, good, good. And you like to spend time with her?
I love it.
She here in town?
They actually are living with me right now.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Good. Well, is that good?
It's wonderful. I love it.
Good. Which probably couldn't have happened 8 years ago.
Well, she lived with me 8 years ago because she was in high school. I was lucky enough to get sober when she was still in high school, and I could still grow our relationship as a sober parent.
Okay.
And that was definitely part of my reason for getting sober, is I wanted to be present in her life. And I hear a lot of young mothers who have young children, and who are just getting sober, and they're very lucky to be able to experience sober living with younger children.
Now, when did you take your first drink of alcohol?
When I was 14. Well, I actually started playing around with my parents' liquor cabinet probably when I was 10, 11. I don't know why. I just thought it was, I wanted to know what that was all about.
Were you ever a daily drinker?
Yes.
And when did that start?
Probably when I was 35.
Okay.
Maybe a little younger.
Was there something that caused that? Was there an event?
It seems like my drinking in my adult life had definite ebbs and flows, but it would always pick up a lot after a relationship ended.
Okay.
So I would be in a relationship, we would break up, and then I would start drinking more heavily.
I see that a lot, or people that are sober for a while and they break up and they don't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
They want to be soothed, and the only way they know how to soothe themselves is to drink or use.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Now, so I'm trying to figure out how long your daughter lived with a intoxicated mother.
Well,
most of her life?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think it wasn't until she was about 15 when she started noticing how much I was drinking. I think it was, I was I drank wine a lot. Wine was my drink of choice. And it was very common for me. As far as she was concerned, I was just having a couple glasses of wine at night. It wasn't like I was pounding back a 12-pack of beer a night or a fifth of vodka. But it started to become apparent to her, or she started commenting on it when she was 15. She started saying things like, "You're going to have another glass of wine?" Or we would have conversations and I would not remember them the next day. And I would bring something up that we had already talked about. And she would say, "Mom, we talked about that last night." So I think the last year or so of my drinking, it really became more apparent to her.
And was she pivotal in you getting sober?
Absolutely. My bottom was pretty, I think I had a pretty high bottom. I didn't lose any of the things that people talk about losing when they hit their bottom. I still had a good job. I had a nice home. My daughter was still in my life. But what happened was I had been drinking. I was on vacation. It was in between Christmas and New Year's, and it was about 8 o'clock one night, and I had gone over to a friend's house, and I had come back from that friend's house, and I was slurring my words so badly that she could not understand what I was saying. And she had heard me slur my words before, but this time in particular, she just said, "I can't even understand a word you're saying." And she just turned around and walked out of the room and went up to her room. And that was devastating to me. You know, I was embarrassed. And the next morning I woke up and I had that feeling of just complete remorse and shame. And I began to take Antabuse. And my drinking I was definitely an alcoholic.
And for those of you that don't know what Antabuse is, and correct me if I get this wrong, Antabuse is a pill that you take, and if any alcohol, okay, deodorant, perfume, soap, mouthwash, any alcohol enters your body, you get violently ill, almost to the point where you're dying. Everything inside of you comes out.
Yes.
Right.
And chemically speaking, alcohol breaks down to a form of acetaldehyde, but it happens very quickly, and Antabuse keeps it in that state. And if it stays in that state where you have acetaldehyde buildup in your body, you get deathly ill.
Okay.
That's the chemical thing that goes on.
I think your liver can get, if you do Antabuse, you're supposed to be under a doctor's care and have them check for your liver quite often because it can do damage.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, because your liver gets rid of toxins within your body, and alcohol is considered a toxic substance, and so it converts it and breaks it down so that your body can get rid of it. And so once it's abused and abused and abused and abused, then that's how you start to get and develop cirrhosis. It kills off your liver.
Yeah.
Over time.
Yeah, I like the saying that we have in the 12-step program. If you have a problem with your liver, your lover, or the law, you're probably an alcoholic. I've heard that, and I think that's probably certainly applied to me in some way.
I've never heard that. That's good.
Yeah, if you have trouble with your liver,
well, I had
your
problems
lover,
with lovers all the time before, but never associated with my drinking, but it was true.
or the law. Yeah,
Yeah.
one of those, or a combination of all of those. All right, and now you get to be present for your grandchild, which has
Right.
never seen you drunk
No, she never has.
and never will.
God willing. Yeah, hopefully not.
That's the plan.
Right.
One day at a time. Do you know how many days you've got at 8 years? No?
No, I don't.
Okay, that's all right. I'll figure that out on
Okay.
my testy calculator here. And Laura, when we come back, I want to hear what made you put it down and what have the last 47 days been like. And I think then sometime we'll have you come back and we'll fill in all the other stuff. But I wanted to give our listeners a wonderful peek, and God love you for doing this, for coming on and being so transparent about these days in your life, because it's tough. First time ever this long sober?
Since I was 14.
14, wow. Okay, it's Restoring Hope Live, and it's brought to you by Powell CDC, and it's on Recovery Monday, and we thank you for taking the time to listen. We very much appreciate your questions, your comments, your thoughts, and they are all private. They are all something that can stay just between the two of us. If you've got questions, jump on Facebook, private message me. My email is mac@mckoi.net, and call me anytime you need to, right here at webcast1live.com.
A father who is headed toward another heart attack. A woman who struggles daily with diabetes and her memory. A boy whose headaches keep him out of school. A mother who one morning discovers a lump. A girl whose condition defies diagnosis. You come to us because you need answers, but you also need more. You need understanding of what you're going through. You need comfort. You need to be treated as an individual, not a condition. You need to be included in your own care. You are the point of everything we do. That's why we're changing to Unity Point Health. It's a model of care that will help us work better together, where the physician who knows you best takes the lead, coordinating your care through every step, from the hospital to specialists to rehabilitation to health services in the home and in the community, to making sure the treatments are effective. By working as a team, we surround you with care, helping you manage your health and your conditions, guiding you to making better choices and living a healthier life. The point of Unity is you. Unity Point Health.
Get away from my Sumito credit card. We don't have any more money. We're in trouble now. Save us! Help! Somebody save us! Somebody help! Help! Save us!
Hi, I'm Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of Des Moines. If your credit card's a little too animated, give us a call.
Hooray! We're saved! Consumer Credit, you're our hero!
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
10 minutes for the top of the hour here on Recovery Monday. J. Michael McCoy, your host. Thanks for listening. Lila Stafford from Powell CDC is here. Bob Montserrat, the Cat in the Hat, watching the chat. Our special guests are Stephanie, who has been 8 years sober, and Laura, who is 47 days sober. Now, Laura, here's the question I have for you. When did you surrender?
I think the best way to answer that would be to say that it was on the day I came to Powell, and it was my first day of inpatient.
Okay. All right. And what caused you to surrender?
Well, like I said, the last couple of years I'd been even tearfully on my knees begging God to fix me.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, my mom said something funny several weeks ago when I told her I was going to treatment. So it was about a week before I came to treatment. You know, I told her that, you know, what do you do when you're on your knees and you're crying and you're, you know, I felt like to me like that was surrender, and I was begging for help. But she said to me, what did you expect help to look like at that point? And I said, well, I wanted to be normal. You know, so I didn't want to be cycling every other day through drinking hungover, I'm okay, drinking hungover, I'm okay, over and over again for years. I wanted to be a normal drinker.
Yeah, right. Just have one or two,
just
right?
Just fix me. You know, so that was always my petition, was begging God to just fix me.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I kind of figured out over time that was just asking you got to ask the right questions. So this last several months, my daily drinking turned into binge drinking, and the binge drinking turned into blackouts. The blackouts were scaring me. I was out of vacation time at work. I was starting to get noticed at work that I was missing work, and
now called the brown bottle flu.
Right. And a lot of it.
Yeah.
So and performance at work was not good and all that jazz. So And if I had started getting in real trouble at work or lost my job, I would have probably had some sort of nervous breakdown.
Okay.
So things were starting to
unravel.
Yeah, things were spiraling. It wasn't pretty.
So you made the choice on your own.
Yes.
To enter Powell.
Well, what happened was it was about August 1st. I started actively calling places, checking the internet for, around for, I didn't know where to go.
Yeah.
I actually left my office one day. I think it was August 1st or so. It was a Friday. And I left my office and I drove to Des Moines and I went to another hospital here in town that I thought had the only inpatient facility. And I walked in the door and I said, here I am. And they said, well, we don't have an inpatient program and we don't take private insurance. And I started bawling. Because I was,
yeah,
I was like, but I'm here. I was
you
got in the car and I'm asking for help. I was desperate for help, and it seemed like the more desperate I got, the more I spiraled.
Okay.
And the more I spiraled, the more desperate I got. And
now you know why in this program we say Powell, call Powell. It's safe. You know a place.
Yes.
That it's for that person right there who's finally said, I surrender.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because Laura said to me at one time a few weeks ago that you kept hearing about Powell, but you didn't know what Powell was.
Well, I would I would hear this program in the car, and I think I was kind of caught up in your guests' stories because they were my story, and I'd be bawling my eyes out in the car. And I heard you talk about Powell, but I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what that was. I knew you were kind of in the central Iowa area, so I didn't know if that was a facility, if it was a doctor's last name. But I think I was kind of glazing over that little detail when.
Well, the stories got you.
They always got me.
Yeah, that's good.
So Powell is a treatment center.
That's right.
It's here in Des Moines.
Stephanie, what's your sobriety date?
March 25th.
March 25th. Okay, I'm just adding up the number of days for
Okay.
you. I'll have that here in just a minute.
Okay.
So, can you describe the difference in Laura today compared to 47 days ago? But more importantly, let's just say 20 days ago.
Well, I was inpatient for a week, and I'm so thankful that they had me be an inpatient. I actually thought I wasn't that bad. I thought they were going to recommend me for day outpatient, and next thing I know, they're showing me my bed and the menu, and I just burst into tears. But I got to the point where I was afraid to leave.
Okay.
Inpatient, because it meant sliding back into a routine with work and life, and
Drinking.
I knew what that meant. You know, I knew that
you could play the movie and figure out where that goes.
Right.
So why didn't it happen that way?
I think because that first day when they had me be an inpatient, and I'm so glad they did that. I'm so glad I was there for a week, but I sobbed uncontrollably that whole first day. I went through, I don't know how many boxes of Kleenexes, but, and I was partly crying because I didn't know how long I might be there, and I only had a week off of work. And I only could board my dogs for a week. And so I thought if I left after a week, what would that mean?
Yeah.
Would they let me come back? I was terrified I wasn't going to be able to stay.
Okay. And then you heard about aftercare.
Yeah, and
patient care.
Yeah. They worked with me on the timing and the scheduling and the program and all that.
We have treatment at night.
Yeah.
So people can work during the day and go at night. And then we also have day treatment.
Yeah, I had to go at night when I was court ordered.
Yeah.
And I was a horrible court ordered. I was one of those guys that wasn't going to surrender. I was there just to get my piece of paper signed.
Most court ordered people are.
Are they? Yeah.
A lot
Okay.
of them are.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You look great.
I feel amazing.
You're kind of beaming. And I think I didn't know you before, but my guess is your laugh is back.
Laugh is back. Sense of humor's back. I feel sharper.
Good.
And I think that's feeding it a lot of the last several weeks is.
Okay. And you'll come back later on
Sure.
and talk to us how it's going.
Sure.
And Stephanie, we'd like to have you back sometime.
Sure.
To tell the whole story. By the way, with leap years, You have today been sober 8,446 days.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I was going to add yours up, but I can't count that high. I'm sorry, I just
I don't
can't.
like the days. It doesn't sound like very many to me.
Oh,
I always get depressed. It's like, that's all.
Oh, I love the days. My sponsor, since I was a nighttime drinker and I was never a daytime drinker, my sponsor said you can drink anytime after midnight, but go to bed by 11. And so that's what I do every night. And in the morning, one of the first things I do is I think, what day is this? So thank you both for being here. Look forward to seeing you again. Powell CDC. We appreciate you being here, and ask you to do one thing for me tonight when you say your evening prayers. Do me a favor. Think of that person that you still carry a resentment towards, somebody you don't like. Do yourself a favor and forgive them. Would you please? Today. We'll see you tomorrow live here on KTIA, Iowa.